My unit, salute. Have a seat. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Have a seat. Thank you. Sit down, guys. Have a seat. Thank you. Gotta entertain ourselves sometimes, man. This company, these shows are not doing it. I don't know what this company is even thinking anymore with what they're putting out there as a product. Monday nights, Friday nights, pay-per-views. I'm done with the PLE bullshit too, by the way. Pay-per-views. I was live with you guys for the first hour of Raw last night. First hour. Full amplified honesty throughout. That first hour encompassed, it embodied, it encapsulated everything wrong with this WrestleMania season. It brought to the forefront, it put into that spotlighted focus the fact that we don't even have a WrestleMania season. You thought last year's WrestleMania season was bad. This year, Hunter said, hold my coffee. Or whatever he's drinking. Hold my Ovaltine. Hold my Ovaltine. And somehow this WrestleMania season is even worse. Thankfully for this company, they pushed it back into the middle of April. It would have been end of March, early April, which means less than 2 months. And we have nothing. We have nothing. They moved WrestleMania to 2 nights. Because, in their own words, WrestleMania became too big for one night. Hunter can't even fill one card, and he only does about 5 to 7 matches tops per pay-per-view. So they moved it to 2 nights. He can't even handle one. I was live with you guys for that first hour. Nothing was progressing. No storylines that you could get captivated or get yourself interested in. Nothing. So I told you guys the next hour and a half, I'll do my due diligence. I'll do my notes. Tomorrow, I'll have a full review. And here we are, and I do. Now, it should be every hour should be at least 1 full page. That's how a review should go. If the show is even doing its standard redundant garbage, you'd still at least have a page to talk about. Maybe not positively, but you'll still have a page to talk about. So this should at least be a page and a half, right? It's a 2.5 hour show. I was live for the first hour and a half left. This should be a page and a half. Guys, I have a half a page of notes for the next hour and a half. Half a page. This isn't even just bad television anymore. It's just redundant filler. Redundant, meaningless filler. No logic, no common sense, nothing progressing. A half a page. You're not going to believe what happened the next hour and a half in this show. And it's not just Mania season. Rumble's gone, and we've already had 2 Raws post-Rumble. 2 Raws already. And you're not going to believe what Hunter is giving the audience. I used to say I don't know what this company is even doing. I don't think they know what they are doing. I don't think they're stopping to think about any of this. Or do they even care? It is beyond obvious that this show is geared now more. Forget kids. It's geared to toddlers. To toddlers. And it's going away from a lot of us. And I understand that. I'm hoping that changes. You guys support this channel nonstop. I am going to continue to do what I do for you guys. So even though I understand what Hunter and Nick Khan and what they're trying to tell us is that this is no longer for us. It's for the toddlers. And I'm understanding that more and more. I think I always knew that, but I was hoping, hey, they'll add us and our demos in. But it's clear that that's not the case. But I'm not going to pack it in. Not just yet. That being said, I don't know how much longer, because it's that bad. These shows, this company, I've never seen it to this level. And it's more than just like Vince McMahon. The last several years that Vince was fully in charge, it was, even tumbling around in the weeds. Whatever Vince was doing, it was bad, right? I mean, we were reviewing the shows. You guys remember those reviews. I mean, ripping them apart is an understatement. I mean, that was bad beyond bad. This is different. This is not just bad. Like, this is the most ADD, bipolar, raw, tarded type booking you could possibly, muster up. And nothing makes sense. It's all filler. Nothing progresses, or at least logically with any common sense backing it. It's not even like day-to-day booking. It feels like it's minute to minute. And when you like to think that Hunter, he'll put it back on track, it's going to be fine. You just see Hunter just being occupied with everything else other than the creative. All of the promotional, all of the commercials and the advertisements that he's doing, being the face of the company for some stupid reason. Hall of Fame speeches. He's got the documentary or that long video. They followed around with the camera all of Royal Rumble weekend. Because you got to follow around Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That's where the spotlight. They took a camera crew and they followed around the chief content officer. So when you like to think that it will get better, it's pretty clear, no, it's not. Hunter is marking out for himself. Hunter is enjoying the spotlight now more than ever. And this is the product that we have. WrestleMania season. This is nothing more than a crown jewel. This is nothing more than a Saudi Arabia event. The only difference is the Saudi Arabia events have more substance. Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire. That pay-per-view has more substance, or had more substance than this. I will take an old school in your house. I will pay 10 times the amount to get an old school in your house pay-per-view than the garbage we are getting once again this year at Mania. What is the difference? All jokes aside, what's the difference between this and Great Balls of Fire? Or a Saudi Arabia event? What are we getting, guys? And I'm not even just talking Charlie Flair. She wins the Rumble. Once again, Charlie's going to be in a marquee matchup at Mania. Once again, taking somebody's title. This time, crushing out the shine of Tiffany Stratton. Because that's best for business, according to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So once again, we're doing that. I'm not even talking about just Jason Uso. Right? There's fans that just, no matter what, this is what they want. They're okay with it. They're going to yeet at WrestleMania. They're going to have a yeeting moment. They're going to try to recreate Kofi Mania and the Yes Movement. Tens of thousands of people, right? That's the image that Hunter wants. Everybody yeet. I'm not even going to rip you apart. I'm not going to call you names. Do what you got to do. Enjoy it. Yeet. Have the time of your lives. Honestly, you're going to get what you guys all would like to see at WrestleMania. A yeet fest. And Jason Uso hoisting up his championship. Good for you. I hope you understand why so many of us are not on board with it. We're looking at that and going, that ain't it. Forget the fact that the booking itself does not get us to that matchup. Jey and Gunther at Saturday night's main event. That was the payoff. Jey loses, looks up at the lights. A week later, he's winning the Rumble, and we do this. We're doing it again, but this time on the grandest stage. I could see if the matches that they've had were incredible, and we have to see it again. We've seen it with the IC title. We've seen it with the world title. But so the booking was botched by Hunter, right? We can all agree on that. even if you want to see Jey do this, that booking was horrible. Nobody cared about that match going into Saturday night's main event. Nobody cared about the match during. And when it was done, we were happy it was over. We were all saying that as a community. Most of us. And now all of a sudden, we're like, we're going to do it again at Mania. For a lot of us, this ain't it, man. Jey Uso, to a lot of us, this is going to hurt. It's going to sting. To a lot of us, he's a mid-carder as a singles act. He's one half of my favorite tag team, right? Different scenarios sometimes produce different results. As a tag team, top of the top for BC and so many. As a singles wrestler, just because he has a catchphrase and people dance like they do to the Sethington song, it does not put him at a Rumble victory and a WrestleMania main event for us. So I'm not going to rip you if you enjoy it and you want to yeet at WrestleMania. You're going to get your wish and you're going to be able to yeet with a championship victory of Jey Uso. Good for you. But don't be shocked. Don't try to sell us to why this is being done. Like you're getting a cut, a paycheck from WWE. They're not cutting you cash. So don't worry about merchandise sales. Or everybody yeeting at Mania for that Mania moment, and maybe it'll get played at Sports Center. Maybe People Magazine and Variety will cover it. Superstar Jey Uso has 70,000 yeeting. Because that's what we're going for, right? To a lot of us, it's just Jey Uso, man. You can't recreate something that's not there. Everybody likes to dance. We get it. The product has shifted to the toddler stage. They're bringing the parents out, and the prices are so astronomical these days that everybody just wants to chant. It's just chant. ADD booking, right? I say this all the time. You can watch a match now. They could be wrestling for 2 minutes. If they pause, the fans will feel like they need to be doing something or saying something. So just 2 minutes into a match, you'll start to hear, "This is awesome." Awesome. It was 2 minutes. They did 5 moves. But that's where we're at now. They're just showing up to these arenas. It's booking for the house. These are house shows these days. Nothing is progressing. No storylines are implemented. There's no excitement into these shows. It's a house show. You pay a lot of money and you just dance. BC's dropping facts right now. Everything I am saying are facts. These are house shows. Last night's Raw, nothing developed, nothing progressed, nothing was uber exciting, nothing was even exciting. These are house shows. So Jey Uso, for a lot of us, as a singles wrestler, main eventing Mania, in a match we've already seen that was subpar, mid-AF at best. No, that's not Mania main event worthy for us. If it is for you, cool. Don't be shocked that it's not for us, and don't try to sell us or act like we don't know what we're talking about. We absolutely do. That's not it. It's not Kofi Mania. Kofi Mania was like a true Rocky underdog story that, whether you like it or not to hear these words, Vince booked it correctly. That Kofi ride was a ride, and he did it right. That truly felt like a Rocky underdog story. The Yes Movement with Daniel Bryan was one of the best stories we've came across. Him versus the establishment. So well done. And it helped that Hunter had real disdain for the dude. So Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan showed that right back. And Vince played off of that. Vince did that beautifully. There is no story here. Kofi Mania, the Yeet, or the Yeet, the Yes Movement, Kofi Mania, those had stories that were damn good. There's no story here. They botched it. He tried for the title. He lost at Saturday night's main event. Nobody cared about it. The match sucked. We moved on. And then Hunter last minute brings everybody in, and they have a discussion, and Hunter says, "I'm going to go with Jey Uso." Not thinking that, dude, that's just going to lead to the same match we just saw. How is that main event worthy for Mania? That's our stance on it. And that's not going to change. We can't be manufactured into feeling a different way. It's Jason Uso. When the bell rings as a singles competitor, for some reason, he just doesn't do it. A lot of people are calling him the 3 moves of doom. I'm not going to go that far, but there's definitely a disconnect. I think it was last year or the year before he took on his own brother. We thought that was going to be a Mania match for the ages. It ended up being one of the worst. Gunther and Jey Uso doesn't produce. We've seen it several times. So no, just because now there's a yeet attached to it, I hope you understand we're not attached to it. And it doesn't make it feel like Mania season. I'm watching Gunther and Jey Uso again. This time as a Mania main event in 2025. And you got Charlie as the other marquee matchup. And for Cody's title, nobody knows. They could go Punk. They could go John Cena. So either way, you're going to get face versus face. You could have had Orton return and have a legendary heel turn. I could speak. More coffee, BC. A legendary heel turn. Teacher versus student. The Viper, the actual legend killer, is back. That would have been really cool. If you're going to do the face versus face, I mean, CM Punk and Cody would have been the avenue. But then Cena's the odd man out. So then there's all these weird matches. That's what I mean. There's nothing for Mania. Listen to these weird matches that are being talked about. This is literally what is being talked about in the community. John Cena versus Logan Paul. And then there's also, if Cena wins then CM Punk versus Logan Paul. Those are horrible. Logan Paul likes to do all the flippity doodahs. He's young, he's athletic, he wants to try all this new stuff. John Cena and CM Punk versus Logan Paul, they would be injured in the first 60 seconds. They can't hang with Logan Paul wrestling-wise. Why would you have that match? Punk versus Logan. Punk gets hurt every other match. John Cena cannot go like that. You saw what he was doing in there with Rey Mysterio last night. Those are stupid matchups. They make no sense. John Cena versus Logan Paul, CM Punk versus Logan Paul. What are we doing with Logan Paul? Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's taking on Cody, CM Punk or John Cena. Watch Hunter do something real stupid. Try to do a triple threat. Oh, let's talk triple threats. You guys want to hear a stupid concept being kind of tossed around? And there's fans that are okay with this. They're like, whoa, we could get this awesome match. They're talking about a triple threat. CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Are they even thinking how dumb that is? A, B, for what? A triple threat, a fatal four, it's usually for like a title. There's a meaning behind it, right? Like, why else would 3 people be having one match? It's a triple way grudge match, BC. CM Punk and Roman don't have that type of grudge. In fact, CM Punk helped out Roman at Survivor Series several months ago. CM Punk did a favor. And now Heyman owes it back, by the way, not Roman. So even if they threw some bows at Royal Rumble, it wouldn't matter, right? Just one night, there's 30, right? Tempers are high and everybody just threw some bows. Roman ended up shaking it off and went on his month-long vacation after Rumble. So why would Punk and Roman be in a match together with Seth with nothing on the line? You're just going to have a triple threat for the sake of a triple threat because you didn't plan properly, because you didn't book this correctly. So now you're just throwing top talent in there together. It makes no fucking sense. Yeah, let's have CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Let's have CM Punk versus Logan Paul. I mean, none of this makes sense. Let's have Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at the Chamber, and then let's drag it out to WrestleMania. So by the end of WrestleMania, we would have saw Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens 944 times. And that's fun to a lot of people. Just seeing the same matches over and over. Seeing WrestleMania build that is just mind-numbingly stupid. Makes zero sense. What else is for Mania? I don't even... Honestly, what I mean, the whole main event scene is a cluster of illogical trash. And I don't even know where what do you even do, man? The Wyatts are not even on TV, so you would have to like rush them to TV and get something in the next month and a half. Chad Gable is just lost. Maybe they try to do Gable Penta, like, you know, he's trying to master the dark arts of Lucha Libre. And so maybe, I'm trying here, man. I'm not saying Gable Penta is going to be a marquee Mania match, but it could be good if done correctly. I don't know what else. This mid-card is just... Mello is doing nothing. LA Knight is lost. LA Knight, Drew McIntyre would be the only direction. But McIntyre just pinned LA Knight this past Friday, so the booking of it will ruin it. So even if the concept is good, Hunter doesn't know what to do. So Hunter's going to find 1,000,001 ways to ruin it because he can't book properly. He's not creative. So he's just going to have them wrestle and fight each other nonstop. You guys saw what happened with Jason Uso last night. You guys know that the story is going to be 2 months of just brawls. Gunther already told you that. He said, if you choose me, Jay, it's going to be 2 months of beatings. And last night, that's what happened. And it's not even like Gunther's just going to beat him down, right? You saw Gunther beat him down. He attacked him from behind, beat him down. And then Jey Uso just stood up and started beating down on Gunther, right? First, he grabs a mic. He says, I shouldn't say this, but it's going to be you and me. And then Gunther goes back to the ring, and Jey just pops up. Jey starts wailing away on Gunther. I thought you just took a beating. How is Jey all of a sudden Super Jey? He's spearing people like he's Roman. he's no selling. But that's what you're going to get, right? The same Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes the past several months, where the only storyline was they just brawl every time. It's on site. So that's all you're going to get for Jey Uso and Gunther. They're just going to fight and brawl every single show until we get to Mania. Because there's no story. There's nothing. We've already seen Gunther beat the dude. That's it. That's the story. And now Jey has to overcome that loss. Dun 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 dun. Rocky, right? We're gonna try to do Kofi Mania. That's what you're getting. That's what I mean. There's no story. If this was booked correctly, maybe a lot more of us would be a little better with Jey main eventing Mania, winning a Rumble. But because it's not, here we are. You expect us to go from Hulk Hogan to Steve Austin to even Cody and Roman Reigns to Jason Uso. Not with this booking, you're not. And one other thing, may I add? Of course I can. It's my channel. You got to do away with the chamber if this is going to be the booking. Do away with the chamber. If you're not going to remove Hunter from this position, because he can't do the job, that's clear, then you have to remove the chamber. It's unfortunate. I like the chamber too. Maybe move it into the later in the year, have a good stipulation. You could still have the winner takes on champion, but it cannot be right before Mania anymore. It can't be. Because they can't book all we're doing this whole month is having chamber qualifiers. That's your Mania season. The whole first month under Helmsley is just chamber qualifiers. That's not fun. It's not fun. I like the way Cena did it. Just put the dude in. That's it. You have 2 general managers. If you're booking properly, right? You just storyline wise make it make sense, and you have the proper names in there. So Nick Aldis says these are the 3 going in, and Pierce says, well, these are the 3 going in for me. There you go. Boom. Done. These are right. Back in the day, things worked so well because everything was being done properly. You didn't need number 1 contender matchups all the time. You didn't need it. We didn't want it. You had actual storylines, and they were being done in a way where when a challenger was taking on a champion, they ignited a story first, and you never questioned them going for the title because it made sense to you. That was the beast. That's the challenger. This is going to be good. But now we spend a whole month just putting people into the chamber. So by the time the chamber is done and we only got about 3 or 4 weeks left before Mania, then we can start proper build? No. And even after chamber, you're not going to get proper build. Hunter is clueless. He's not good at being creative. The problem is he's a chief of content and creative. This show was absolutely nauseating yet again. Listen to the hour and a half that followed that first hour. Again, I was live with you guys. I'm not going over that again. I was live with you last night. And I just knew like that set the tone for the next hour and a half, but I was hoping it was going to get better like all you guys. So this is what happened. It's only half a page, and you're going to see how none of this has anything to do with Mania, or at least shouldn't, because it's that bad. Raw 210-25. AJ Styles promo starts the second hour. He's interrupted by the Judgment Day. AJ Styles beats them up. Wow. Epic storytelling. Can't wait to see this feud continue. That's it. That's all I had in my notes. That's all that happened. Judgment Day came out, interrupted Styles, tried to attack Styles. Styles ended up, I guess, taking them all out, right? Styles prevailed. And then Styles was backstage and he told Adam Pearce that he wants a match with, who was it? Dominic Mysterio? Is that next week? I think that's next week. So that's it. Just a AJ Styles, Dominic Mysterio. That's it, man. Styles returned for this. Jackie Redmond then interviews Sethington Rollins. Finn Balor interrupts, and they try to sell a qualifier match for next week. BC's getting so choked up. It's such epic storytelling right now by Hunter Helmsley, man. Who would have thought Finn Balor and Rollins face-to-face last night? Because we haven't seen that match 31 times in the past. It was at this moment, I actually put this in my notes, at this moment it dawned on me. This is like Seinfeld. Even if you never saw Seinfeld, the concept is it's just a show about nothing. Like a bunch of friends just get together and they just have these like funny, awkward conversations that like probably a lot of people think, but they don't actually talk about it. But these friends get together and they talk about it, and they have these wild scenarios and events take place in their life, and it's a funny show about nothing. And it's hilarious because, it was great that the finale of that show, it was a huge event many, many years ago. It was the finale. Everybody wanted to see how it was going to end. And it ended with all of them going to jail, all 4 of them. It was a funny episode. Some people didn't like it because they were like, what? They just went to jail, but they didn't understand the concept of it. So they all go to jail. They're stuck in this place, right? There was meaning behind this. Before they're just at the cafe, they're in Jerry Seinfeld's house or whatever. Now they're stuck together. They're in jail. They're in this one little cell together. And they've always never had a problem with discussion, right? Coming up with topics as weird, as bizarre. And the conversation was always fun. So now they're stuck in this jail cell. They try to spark a conversation, but they realize they've already had the talk before. They've already talked about this. So like Jerry or one of them goes, didn't we already talk about this? And they're all like, huh, I think so. That's it. That was the finish. Guys, the whole thing behind it is, damn, they ran out of anything left to say. There's nothing left to say. They ran out of topics. They ran out of discussions. They're stuck in this cell and there's nothing to talk about. Like it ran its course. I hope that makes it like the show ran its course. That was the producers. That was the writers telling you we have nothing left for these characters. There's nothing left for them to talk about. I just thought that was so well done. But this is like Seinfeld and it's unfortunate because this should never be the case in pro wrestling, especially WWE. But they just ran out of creativity. They're creatively bankrupt. They have nothing else. Everything is recycled now. It doesn't matter if you're seeing Drew McIntyre claymoring Sami Zayn, a match we've seen 8,000 times. It doesn't matter if Kevin Owens is attacking Sami Zayn yet again, and we're about to go into a Sami Zayn-Kevin Owens feud for the 944th time. It doesn't matter if you see Balor face-to-face with Sethington last night, and they're going to have another match next week. And that's supposed to get everybody excited, even though we've seen this match 31 times, 5 different actual feuds. Everything is recycled. When the show went off the air, we'll go over it. The New Day was attacking Rey Mysterio. Do you know how many times Rey Mysterio and the New Day have been tag team partners or have faced each other? 1,016 times. That's how the show ended. We'll get to that. Everything is recycled. And it brings up an interesting concept. Is this the downside of lifers? Right? On one hand, you're glad that people that have been there for so long, you know, they get accolades and achievements and titles. You never want to see anybody lose their job or their place in a company like that. But the flip side is you have to have that change. Because if you don't, in something like this, you have just redundancy. And if you're not doing it correctly, it's going to be really bad. And here we are. Redundancy. It's not being done correctly, and it's really bad. Like back in the day, Vince would bring in all these dastardly heels, you know, to play off the face. And it worked, man. You felt it. And it was just like, yes, I'll pay for that. It doesn't matter if he was bringing in Zeus or an earthquake. It didn't matter if he was bringing in the Undertaker, which Undertaker ended up. Yeah, I mean, you can't really botch his booking. Vince and Bruce Pritchard worked with the Undertaker flawlessly. But he would bring in these characters, right? And some people, after several years, Vince had to cut ties with them because it no longer served the product. It's an interesting theory, right? It's an interesting concept and discussion to have. Is this the downside of having these lifers, basically, and these individuals that have been there 10, 15, 20 plus years? Is that we're just seeing redundancy? And again, if not done correctly, I mean, look at Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Owens is talking about how Sami's just not a good friend to him at the Royal Rumble. After everything they've been through, all their feuds, we already know that both of you haven't been a good friend, and you'll never be again. We've seen Sami and KO so many times that, do you remember one of their last feuds? They said, this is it. This is the last time we're ever going to face each other. They had to put that into a storyline. That's how much the audience was like, again? So then they waited a couple of years, and we're right back to it. Redundancy. It's the finale of Seinfeld. They ran out of things, and they're just trying to redo everything. They're hoping that everyone either forgot or they're willing to just bypass it. Let's not think about all their feuds that they've already had and all their matches. Right now, you're looking at Balor and Seth. Get excited for their match next week. That's it. That was, and then, so that's hour number 2. AJ Styles had a promo, Judgment Day interrupted, and AJ beat up Judgment Day. Jackie Redmond interviews Seth Rollins. Finn Balor interrupts. They have a face-to-face. They set up a matchup for next week, a qualifier for the Chamber. And then hour number 2 ended with the Creed brothers versus the War Raiders. I believe the Creeds were disqualified. The Raiders were laid out as the Creeds hold up the titles to the hard cam, and that's the end of hour 2. If you're thinking, well, see, there had to be more. That's not going to get us excited for the Creed brothers winning the titles, and even if they do, then we'd have to see the match again. Exactly. What's the story here? The War Raiders are flat on their backs looking up at the lights as the Creed brothers hoist up titles. How does that make War Raiders look good? Because they won by DQ? And what does this lead? The Creed brothers so the Creed brothers are going for the titles? Is that the match? Because there's one big problem with that. Hunter, you just gave us the match. There's nothing left to see now. He literally just has the matches, And he says that's the story. You guys are going to get the same matches over and over, but it's going to lead to a pay-per-view matchup. Yeah, so then you pay for it. So you saw it 10 times, but on the 11th time, we're just going to take your money. So you just see the Creed brothers versus War Raiders again, I guess? I mean, that's what I mean. That's what you just got over with the DIY, right? The tag titles for the SmackDown division and brand, I should say. DIY and another tag team just beat them, right? And it was it Pretty Lively? Or was it Motor City? Some team just beat DIY. That's how forgettable it was. And that's supposed to be a title match in the future. But they beat DIY. And the stipulation is if you can beat the champions, then you'll get a title match. So they beat DIY. And we're going to see the same exact match this time just for the titles. So that's what I mean. There's no creativity. We're just having matchups and we're going, that's the storyline. Jey Uso versus Gunther for the 8th time. That's the storyline. They're just going to brawl every show. Brawl, brawl, brawl. It's not nitpicking, not being negative. It's calling facts out. It is saying that this should be unacceptable for everybody. Every fan should have a higher bar than that. But if you're booking for toddlers, then I guess their bar would be so low anyway, so this is why they feel they can get away with it. Netflix cannot be pleased with this. Losing half their audience up front plus in just 3 weeks their global audience. And this is why. Hour number 3, CM Punk promo. It's interrupted by Logan. He's just talking about Elimination Chamber bullshit. Logan Paul interrupts. They say a bunch of words. It could have been and should have been much better with those two. It was nothing. And this just led to a Chamber qualifier Raw main event. Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. Paul, of course, defeats Mysterio via pinfall to advance to the Chamber. And the show ends just like that. Or Logan Paul was looking into the camera B, and Logan Paul is screaming into the camera. This is a quote. Logan Paul is screaming, "How can I be this good looking, yet still be so hungry?" You know, he's bragging. He just beat Rey, and he's like, "How can I be this good looking and still be this hungry?" Meanwhile, in the ring, the New Day jumps in and starts beating up Rey, and then we just cut off like they ran out of time. It was just a weird cut, like the New Day of all people. Like we've already seen them in Rey Mysterio for 15 years, it seems. But it's the New Day jumping Rey, and in 2 seconds, they just cut out. Like, what the fuck is happening? That was your Monday Night Raw 2 months away from Mania. That is what we got, man. The Creeds DQ'd against the War Raiders. Sethington and Balor face-to-face to set up a Chamber qualifier for next week. Styles and Dominic Mysterio setting up a match for, I believe, next week. And Logan Paul defeating Rey Mysterio. And the New Day attacking Rey Mysterio. And then you honestly wonder why so many of us are going, that's WrestleMania season? It's worse than bad. It's just, it's nonsensical. It's raw-tarded. That's the nicest way I can say that. It's raw-tarded. It just is. I mean, Hunter Helmsley is somehow worse than Vincent Kennedy McMahon when it comes to creative. I never thought that was even possible. Vince McMahon was a genius back in the day. Absolutely. The things he did for years, the moves, it was amazing. I don't even use that word connected with pro wrestling often. It just incredible. The last several years that Vince was in charge, he just gave up. He didn't care. He was cashing in. He was bringing in the interns, if you know what I mean. Vince was checked out. And you saw that in the product. There should be no excuse for Hunter Helmsley. Nothing. I mean, guys, I'm thinking about 2 nights of Mania. I don't even know what matches. He botched it so badly. I don't even know what the matches could be. A triple threat involving Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins is stupid. A singles match with Rollins and Roman in 2025 is fucking stupid. Logan Paul versus Cena, Logan Paul versus Punk, that's stupid. Jason Uso versus Gunther is stupid. Charlotte Flair going for another championship and most likely winning it is stupid. Io Sky last night, we went over, this was an hour one, so I don't want to go over it, but Io and Rhea Ripley are going to have a match, the Raw After Chamber. That was odd. What? What about the people that are winning the Chamber and winning the Rumble and getting to choose opponents? Then why would Io and why would Nia Jax this Friday against Tiffany? Why would they get title shots then? Doesn't that render the Rumble and the Chamber useless? Meaningless? Nonsensical? We're not supposed to ask about that? Then why do the Rumble and why do the Chamber if other individuals that didn't win are just going to get title matches anyway? I know, I'm speaking logic and common sense. I'm supposed to lower the bar, lower the standard, don't ask the questions, just enjoy wrestling, try to have fun. Trust me when I say I'm trying. That's the problem. I'm actually trying to enjoy wrestling. More so, I'm trying to be captivated by pro wrestling. I'm trying to have fun with it all. I'm trying to be entertained. That's the problem. I'm actually trying. I shouldn't have to try. And on top of that, it's just not working. That's what I got for you guys. Raw 210-25. That's the most honest, amplified review you're going to get, man. There's no sugarcoating. There's no BS. That ship has sailed. It's Mania season, and this is so bad, and it can't even get back on track. There's no matchups. He botched it so badly that you can't even fabricate anything, unfortunately. There's nothing you can come up with this Friday or this Monday that's going to magically propel a storyline that's next level. And the problem is, you have 2 nights of Mania to fill. We're just going to get the most random matchups, guys, being chucked at us up to the last minute. The Friday before Mania, you're going to be getting matchups added to the card. And they have enough fans that are going to go, I see no problem with it. I think this is all done so good, man. Everyone relax. There's still 2 months before Mania. Why is everyone freaking out? Right? There's fans. They're just kids. They don't know. They haven't been around long enough. They're like, what's everyone talking about? There's still 2 months. Because this is what they're used to. They're used to this, right? So to them, 2 months to try to build a story. That's incredible. They don't understand that Mania used to be penciled in months before the calendar year beforehand. September, October, Mania plans were already cemented. Right? And that's including if there's going to be injuries in Plan Bs. Trust me, all that. But by Rumble, I mean, you had matchups ready to rock for WrestleMania. So these fans today, they're like, dude, even if, after there's still going to be a whole month after the Chamber. Everyone relax. Yeah. And we're going to manufacture interest in that 1 month. There's going to be epic storytelling in that 1 month. Hunter has shown you he's even capable to do 1 month of epic storytelling. No. This shit is garbage. Absolute garbage. And last night was just another just do away with the Elimination Chamber, bring back Great Balls of Fire, just do all the if you're going to go random, Hunter, just go random. Maybe it'll add a pulse to this product. Great Balls of Fire. It would be more interesting than WrestleMania season under Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Raw 210-25. That's what I got for you. 44 dive. That's our wrap. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit saying check you. Salute.